Hi everyone, it's Georgia from Break Into Tech, and today we have another success story. And we are met with our beautiful Sarah, who's going to talk about her journey from starting the accelerator program right up till landing her role. So, would you like to give us a quick introduction, tell us a little bit more about your background and the role that you've recently landed?
Yeah, of course. So I joined Break Into Tech, I think, in May, so coming up like 3 months ago. And I have quite a strange background. So I came from the beauty industry, and I was a salon owner and PMU trainer, so like cosmetic tattooing. And yeah, I think I actually originally saw the video on your profile
Mhm.
about Break Into Tech, and I think I was already following you because we were in the same industry.
Yeah.
So that was what sparked my initial interest. 'Cause I was kind of like, oh, she's came from a really similar background to
hmm
me. So, if you can do it, then hopefully I can do it.
That's amazing. So how did you like first feel about that? Because of course, very similar to myself, leaving the beauty industry to go into tech, like they're worlds apart. So
Yeah,
what was it that really gave you that drive that things like, I really do have transferable skills that are better compensated elsewhere.
yeah, there was a number of things really. In my business, I found myself what I identify really similar to an SDR role, just to get clients and students through the door,
hmm
which is obviously like a full-time job, isn't it? And then when it's B2C, like I have to be with the client, with the student, with the customer. I was just exchanging so much of my physical time and energy
Yeah.
in order to be paid. And I think I just kind of realized that long term, that wasn't going to be so sustainable for me. I was working every hour under the sun. I would maybe get like a Sunday off, but I just wasn't present at all in that because I was like, I've got so much
Yeah.
admin to do for like the week ahead. And I honestly never really realized it would be an option. I thought I'd sort of pigeonholed myself into the industry because, I don't have a degree. I've just got A levels. I went straight into working in beauty when I was 17. So I just kind of thought, right, this is me. I've built something successful here. I'll just kind of stick with this forever. I honestly didn't even realize that I could go into something like this, not having had a degree or having like the traditional kind of like sales background. But I did a sales psychology program about a year ago to learn how to actually sell kind of like high ticket courses. Obviously, it's easy to get clients through the door. Well, it's not easy, it's still a lot of work that
Yeah,
goes
it's still
into
a
it.
lot of work.
Yeah, it's certainly easier than like getting someone to commit to something that's like £2,000 or £3,000. And in doing that, I kind of realized I really enjoyed the element of like landing that sale versus then actually going in and spending 2 days like teaching the course.
Yeah.
So when I saw it, I did a lot of research into it and I was like, ooh, this sounds like very up my alley.
Honestly, I'm just listening to you. It just reminds me so much of like myself before. I just think we are literally the same person. So tell the audience, of course, like I know everything, but just so the audience know, what role you landed, your overall package.
Yeah, so I've landed a role which is hybrid. It is in like construction software, so it's like meeting compliance needs for construction companies.
Mhm.
Um, First year is 32 OTE with uncapped commission, which transparently was on the lower end of other companies that I was interviewing for. But it seems like the progression for growth is really strong. And then in your second year, if you get promoted to BDM, it becomes 50 OTE with uncapped commission. And then if you stay in that for another year, it's then 70 with obviously uncapped commission as well. So I just kind of I liked the fact that I kind of knew someone who was in the program. Sorry, not in the program, who already worked there.
Yeah.
And I found that out by reaching out because I always reach out to the hiring manager after I was applying for things. And it came up as like one of my clients and friends. And I was like, what the hell? Like, I had no idea. So I actually reached out to her regarding a different position. And she was like, I'm actually going to put you forward for a company where my fiance works. I think you would be perfect for this. And then I think having that internal referral really helped. But just because he spoke so highly of like the company and he like genuinely really enjoys his time there, and like I had like an actual verified person who could tell me like, yeah, people typically get promoted fast if they're like performing. That's why I decided to go for this one.
Yeah, I think it's really important to understand the progression inside the company in which you're stepping into. A lot of our girls, they're all doing the same thing. How soon would you say, especially in the progression in your company, it would take to get to that six-figure earning mark?
I've still not reached six figures within my current beauty business. Slowly creeping up. But I mean, I've been in that industry for 16 years, and
Yeah.
it took me all that time to even get anywhere close to that.
Yeah, it's crazy because this is what I've explained to a lot of people. They're like, why did you leave the beauty industry to go into tech? Because obviously it's just two completely different worlds. But
Yeah,
it's like explaining to them that, you can make a lot of money in the beauty industry, but that's directly tied to your time. You can
exactly.
either increase the price of your service so you lose your clients,
Hmm.
a lot of them, or you just don't sleep.
Yeah,
They're your options.
I
Because
know.
you're saying goodbye to your weekends. Like, I'm not sure if you've attended like weddings in the past, like you could be starting at like 3 a.m.
Yeah. Hmm.
Like
So
it's a lot.
I weirdly like I never went down the wedding route because I'm such a commitment phobe. I didn't want to take weekends years in advance, but I've assisted the odd one, and I'm like, oh god, this is really hectic.
Really hard because the day still continues after that. It's not just the wedding. You gotta go back. You've got other clients you need to attend to. No, honestly, it is amazing. So was it just like coming across at my page and educating yourself further, or is it something that you kind of heard about in the past or considered? Because a lot of people, especially on social media, I think there is just like so much that goes around, but they think that tech sales is kind of in that another area because it's obviously not a career that we were taught about in school. It wasn't something that was an option. So it's crazy how a lot of people, especially now in the UK, especially I'd say it's starting to become a lot more aware of this being a career path. So kind of
Yeah,
what was that journey like for you?
I had honestly never heard of tech sales in my life until I stumbled across one of your videos.
Mhm.
And I would imagine like a lot of people will see it and be like, oh, this is like too good to be true. They'll probably think like multi-level marketing kind of like vibes. But once I yeah, once I kind of I did a lot of research into it. So I looked at all the physical reviews, and then I watched a lot of the YouTube videos, like actual testimonies and things like that. And then I started just like looking at people on TikTok who were in the industry and kind of how they were structuring the days and the rewards that they were getting and things. And I was just like, oh, this is genuinely legit. And this actually sounds like something I would enjoy so much. Obviously, it was met with like quite a lot of skepticism from like my family and things like that. They were like, you're
Yeah,
going to leave like your own booming business where you're your own boss to pursue something that like sounds made up to me. And I was like, yeah, I am actually, because I've done the research, I know the crack, and like I just there's no doubt in my mind that I'll succeed at something like this. So
yeah.
they probably still don't even know what's going on. Like they have no idea what I'm going into, but that's fine. They'll
Honestly,
learn.
my dad was the same because obviously I think as far as they are aware, it's only like the what was like careers that sounded prestigious, what, like 20 years ago. Like you become a lawyer or a doctor or
Yeah,
dentist, like anything that sounds impressive to other people is essentially the career path that would, consider us successful. So when I first started talking to my dad about it, he was just like, honestly, just straight over his head. And he was like, until I see money hitting that bank account, to me, it doesn't exist. And now, just like, is this something I could do then?
oh, bless his heart. He absolutely could get him in the program.
We're going to have to get him to join Break Into Tech. But I think it is just that knowledge and educating ourselves further because obviously it's a huge thing in the US, like massive. And I just It is crazy. So once you of course joined the program, like how did you find your experience and what did you find most helpful and that kind of moment that was like, I'm confident I'm gonna succeed here.
Yeah, so I did the e-learning portion first, and then where I was so busy, I wasn't able to attend quite a lot of the calls.
Yeah.
So I had like all the knowledge in my head, and I was like, "This sounds brill, but I need to get further involved." So I actually dropped down to part time so that I could actually like really like get involved in like multiple interviews a week. I wouldn't have had time to do things like that. And then when I dropped down to part time, I was obviously attending more and more calls and like getting loads of interviews and things like that. And yeah, I think it kind of took me, I think when I first joined, I was still a bit nervous to like really go full force. But then like through learning and things like that, I was like, no, I need to like really like get involved in this.
Yeah.
But I still knew I would pull it out the bag. It just took me a little while to be like, right, let's detach from the current business for a little while just so that we can get fully involved in this. And obviously, the coaching calls so helpful. All the mentors have been so helpful. I've been reaching out to people who are in the program, like just on WhatsApp and stuff, and just catching up with them and finding out how their experience has been. It's such a good community. It's such a strong community.
Did you come across any other accelerator programs when you were actively trying to look into break into tech or was it just break into tech? And if so, why?
Um, I don't think I did come across any more now that I've obviously been growing my network on LinkedIn. Like people are messaging all the time, like, "Oh, do you want to join this program, etc." But like they're too late. Like they haven't done
We
the
were fine. I'm all
already
right.
trying. And when I was looking at it, like obviously I'd seen the genuine reviews and testimonials from previous students. There was like a little bit of skepticism on forums like Reddit and stuff, and people were like, "This can't be a thing. Like it's such a
Yeah.
competitive industry to get into and stuff." But having done a coaching program in the past and seen success from it, I was just like, "No, this is where I want to be." And then obviously I had a few calls with the team before committing, and it just seemed like really supportive and just like really optimistic. Like there wasn't a time where I was speaking to anyone and they were like, this might be hard for you coming from your background. They were really just like, no, this is actually the measures that we'll put into place. This is how we'll optimize your skills. And yeah, I was just sure from the start that this is where I wanted to go.
Yeah, that's something that we've really focused a lot of our time on is making sure that we develop something that's almost feels completely tailored to every single person because we have your best interest at heart at the end of the day. Like that is why it's a lifelong program. Like once you're in, you've made that investment, that is yours. Like what you decide to do with that, if you decide to stay, if you want to move into another company, progress in your role, like we will coach you further. And that was something that was really important to us because there are a lot of other programs out there that they offer like 6 week intense coaching or 12 weeks. And like for someone exactly in your position, you were running a whole on salon. Like you don't have the time to just take out and like really try and cram what you can in 6 weeks. Like you had that leisure of being able to put in time when you had time without burning yourself out. And like I'm not sure if you watched Jazz Preet's success story. I can't remember if you watched hers.
I'm not sure, but I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, as so Jaspreet, for an example, she came from a marketing background and she joined Break Into Tech and she didn't have any idea it was honestly completely a whole new game field for her. She landed a role within 2 weeks. She's also a mum of two. And within 4 months, she's just moved up to an AE in a completely different company.
That's absolutely
And
incredible.
it's insane. She's like the first woman in our program to do that. Because we always say like twelve months is like still really like fresh to be able to progress up to an AE.
Yeah.
And like, but it's doable, it's achievable. And she did it in like 4 months. I was like, that is what we want to do. We want to make sure that every single one of you succeeds in the best possible way that you can.
Being able to do like an intense course. I think that was another selling point was that you could do it at your own pace. Like there wasn't that
Yeah.
pressure, and I found that really helpful. Yeah.
What would you say to anybody, I think, especially like the skeptics online these days, which I do get, by the way, there is so much rubbish online. But
Yeah.
what would you say to anybody who's trying to get across that hurdle of really feeling confident in investing into something such as Break Into Tech to land a tech sales role? If they had any elements of doubt, what advice would you give them?
Um, I would say it's hard really because I've always had the mindset of like high risk, high reward.
Yeah.
Uh, and that's a hard thing to do. And also, it might be a silly thing to do for some people. But I think it just really looking at the testimonials, potentially even like reaching out to people. You can source them somewhere if you know their name and things like that. But it's just I think people don't realize that there is the potential to, out earn people who've got degrees, who've studied for so long, who have more experience. It just seems like, and rightly so, like people are just a bit nervous of that element, but it completely is possible. You have to put the work in yourself, but it is doable. So I would also say, like what I did, like looking up people on like social media who have this as a career. They have videos on how they obtained that, where it came from, things like that. But I can understand the skepticism, but it absolutely is possible. You just got to be willing to take a chance on yourself and put the work in, really.
Yeah, definitely. It is just take that chance on yourself. And if you put the work in, you're only going to see a high reward at the end of the day. You either, like the worst possible case, you learn something which can change your life in so many ways. Best possible case, completely changes your life. That's the way I look at things. And I think that is a great mindset to have. I guess, like, kind of touching on mindset as well, when it came through to your interviewing process and going to different interviews, how did you find that confidence in yourself? Of course, coming from a completely different background, obviously beauty into tech. How did you feel during the interviews? Because obviously you're going against other candidates who may have tech experience. How did you
Yeah.
do that?
Um, I was kind of referencing that quite early on in the interview and just being like, I know that my experience maybe looks a bit like left field on paper. There will certainly be people who have more like traditional experience and degrees and things like that. But when you come from a beauty background, you have personability.
Yeah.
Every person who comes through your door has to leave 100% satisfied. You're constantly kind of reading what sort of person you're dealing with, what kind of experience they want to have, and kind of like mirroring that back to them, as well as providing like a high level of service and professionalism. And you're constantly, on the phone with clients, you're constantly reaching out to clients. You kind of have the advantage of being like sales is one place you can be a personality hire, really. If you've got the personality for it and you've got the hunger for it, that can take you further than someone who maybe has, I don't know, like a really relevant degree or something like that.
Hmm.
The gift of the gab, really. So I just try to get that across.
And I think that is probably a very, strong transferable skill that a lot of us women have who are in the beauty industry, even guys like barbers.
Yeah,
Like you are dealing with so many people on a day-to-day basis, and like you said, you don't know who you're dealing with. Your tonality changes, your whole energy changes depending on who you're communicating with that day. You're providing a high service. Like there is so many transferable skills that people don't, they kind of just overlook. They think I don't have any experience, I don't have sales experience, I don't have a tech degree, never went to uni, I'm
yeah.
out. But actually, we have a lot more transferable skills than most, to be honest.
Well, 100%. And when you're in beauty as well, like when you're self-employed, your whole structure is commission only. Like if you don't work, you don't get paid. So
Don't work, don't
you
get
know how
paid.
yeah, you know how to deal well under pressure and like get people through the door, don't you?
And let's be honest, it is a fast-paced environment.
I
Because you are,
know.
if you've got a client that's running over, so it is fast-paced. You constantly the back-to-back communicating with people all the time. You're trying sometimes selling products and services as well, like
You can
throughout.
guarantee on a day when you're wildly busy, the first one's going to come like 20 minutes later and it's going to have a knock-on effect to
Ah,
the
and you
day.
just know you're there till 9:30 at night.
Mhm.
And you're
And
like,
also, like, everyone's like, "Are you not like nervous to do this?" And I'm like, I can't think of anything more nerve wracking than tattooing someone's face to a degree that they're happy with and I do that 8 hours a day. Like that, there could not be a higher pressure than that, to be
No.
honest. So,
No, I have a lot of respect for you. Like, you must be extremely talented to do that for 8 years.
oh, thank you so much.
I couldn't. I'd be shaking like a leaf. I couldn't do it.
It's so scary when you first start. I always say to my students, like, you'll leave here able,
Mhm.
but you feel like a real, like, you only feel confident after 6 months. You only feel established after a year. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's one of them where you've got to really be willing to be a bit shaky at the start and just kind of push through that kind of thing. But yeah.
You gotta be willing to learn. I think a lot of people, what they don't understand is that confidence is an output thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not input. Like, we can think and pretend to be confident as we want, but you're only going to get confident over time through repetition and doing the thing that's difficult. And then you're like, oh, okay, that wasn't that bad. I actually feel
Mm-hmm.
quite confident doing that now. And it is a constant output. It's never input. But yeah, it's been lovely speaking to you today. Do you have any last words of wisdom from anybody else who may be in the beauty industry who wants to make the same transition as you did?
I would say go for it, to be honest. Like I say, I don't have a traditional background at all. I come from like a very working class background. I just wanted to go straight into work straight away. I never really thought that working for corporate at all would be an option for me. Um, and just be willing to take that chance on yourself, especially if you're feeling, overworked, you're exchanging a lot of physical time for money. This could definitely be something that can provide you with a little bit more freedom.